Hello everyone, we are Group 2 and in this video we will be going to present our assignment project. Before we start our presentation, I would like to introduce our group members. I'm Kaishan, who is also the leader of this group, Jinshan, Zoe, Junyuan, and Pingwei. Our group has selected Team 2, which is the Smart Inventory as our assignment project team. Our Smart Inventory system will be a pharmacy retail management store which manages COVID-19 essential supplies. In this video, we will be going through our main objective is to create and establish a Smart Inventory system. The problem is that specific products were to be stored in the Smart Inventory system based on specific categories. A program has to be built to keep track of the records and ease the inventory process. We came up with a proposal of creating a program that can successfully view, add, deduct, discontinue, and reactivate products in the Smart Inventory system. With the basic knowledge of Java coding, the creation of a Smart Inventory system is made possible. Smart Inventory system is established and can be utilized for storing and tracking the products inserted. In our Java coding, we have our product tester class as a driver class, and we have product class as our main object class and 8 subclasses. They are disposable face mask, cloth face mask, hand sanitizer, alcohol sanitizer spray, hand liquid soap, thermal scanner, healthcare kit, and others. In our product class, we declare the instance fields of prod number, prod name, prod unit, prod price, inventory value, and active, which is product status. The private modifier specifies that the member can only be accessed in its own class. The protected modifier specifies that the member can only be accessed within its own package, as with package private, and in addition by a subclass of its class in another package. Next, we also created a default constructor and overloaded the second constructor with parameters of prod number, prod name, prod unit, prod price, and inventory value. In order to control and update our code, getters, which are also known as accessor, and setters, which are also known as mutators, are important for us and of course for any programmers. So here are the getters and setters for the product class. The getter method returns the value of the attribute, while the setter method takes a parameter and assigns it to the attribute. Then, the string method is also implemented to display or print out the details of the product. For the product status, we have used the substitution of the if-else statement, which is the ternary operator. All of the subclasses inherit all of the members such as fields, methods, and nested clauses from its superclass, which is the product class, by using the keyword extends. Each of the subclasses declare its own additional instance fields and constructor with parameters. On top of that, in the constructor, the super method is used to call the constructor with parameters from the superclass, which is the product class. Getters and setters based on their additional instance fields were also created and implemented in each of the subclasses. Every subclass also overrides the inventory value of the superclass to add a 5% restocking fee to the product and overrides the product class to string method to display the product instance fields values.
After all the classes, we will now talk about the methods in product tester class. Get number of products method. Get num products method has a parameter of scanner, and this is implemented to request the user for the size or length of the array. In get num products method, the maximum size variable is initialized with -1, with the purpose of failing the loop so that the code is forced to assign a correct value before it continues. This procedure is implemented in most of the methods. Do while loop is used to check for incorrect data. This loop will execute the code block once, before checking if the condition is true. Then it will repeat the loop as long as the condition is true. In this loop, we use the try and catch statement to catch the error and execute some code to handle it. In the try statement, we prompt the user to enter the number of products they wish to add. If the input is equal or more than 0, the loop breaks. Else, an error will occur telling the user that the input is incorrect, and re-prompt the user for another input. Then, the catch statement will catch and throw an exception when errors occur. If the user's input is less than 0, the loop continues and reprompt the user to enter again. Since this method has a static variable, therefore a return value of the same data type is required too. The InNext or InNext line is used to clear the input buffer. It can be seen in most of the methods. The do-while loop and try-catch statement are also widely used in other methods as well. Next, we will talk about getProductNumber method. GetProductNumber method is implemented to display the index value and the product name to the user. This method consists of the parameters of products array and scanner. In this method, there is a for loop which prints out all the index values and the name of products inserted by the user. The user is prompted to input the product number he or she would like to change. If the input is between 0 and the product's length, the loop breaks. Else, the user will be reprompted to insert the correct product number listed. Since this method has a static variable, therefore, a return value of the same data type is required too.
Add DFM to inventory method allows the user to add disposable face masks into the inventory. This method consists of the parameters of product array, scanner, and an integer I. The static void means that the method has no return value. These declared variables are named temp, which is temporary that takes in the values inserted by the user and stores them in the product details in the array. Then, the user is prompted to key in the details of the product. Do-while loop and try-catch statement are used in the variable with data type of integer and double. The implementation of this statement are to eliminate and handle errors when the user input other than numbers or invalid numbers. For example, the number of pieces, when the input is equal or more than 1 for the number of pieces, it breaks the loop. Else, if input is less than 1 or character or alphabet is inserted, the user will be warned with incorrect value entered and reprompt the user to enter the correct number. This same goes to all of the others integer and double variables. All of the info inserted by the user is then stored into that specific product in the array. Here are the other subclasses which are implemented with the similar methods and statement to the first subclass which I explained earlier. They vary only when it comes to the details of variables to be recorded. Add to inventory method with the parameters of product array and scanner is implemented to add the products into the array. In the try statement, there is a for loop which prompts the user to select the product type they wish to add into the inventory. The if-else statement is used to call the correct method corresponding to what number the user input. For example, if the user input number 1, add DFM to inventory method will be called and prompt the user to insert the details of the disposable face mask. The same procedure will occur based on the input number up to 8. If the input number does not correspond to the list, an error warning will be prompted to the user and he or she will be also reprompted to insert the correct number.
GetMenuOption method with scanner as parameter is implemented to display a menu and request the user to choose an action. Various actions such as view inventory, add stock, deduct stock, discontinue product, reactivate product, and exit are prompted to the user. When the input corresponds to the list, the loop breaks, else the user has to re-enter the correct number. Display inventory method with products array as parameter is implemented to display all the products and its detail in the array. For loop is used to print out all the product and its detail stored in the array. Add inventory method with the parameters of product array and scanner is implemented to add number of stocks of product. Notice that the integer variable of product choice has an initialization of getProductNumber method. It means that when this add inventory method is called, the getProductNumber method will also be called. Executing the statements in the getProductNumber method first, then only the statements in the add inventory method will be carried on. The user is prompted to insert the number of products to be added. If input is incorrect, the user will be reprompted until a correct value is entered. After the do-while loop, there is an if-else statement. If the product status is false, which is discontinued, the action of adding product will be prohibited. Else, the product unit will be updated and increased with the value inserted by the user. Deduct inventory method with the parameters of product array and scanner has a very similar statement to the add inventory method. It is used to deduct the product stock. If the input number is greater than the number of stock available, error occurs, and user will be prompted to input a new number. If the input number is in the range of available stock, the product unit will be updated and decreased with the value inserted by the user. Else, if the product status is false, which is discontinued, the action of deducting a product will be prohibited. This continued inventory method with products array and scanner as parameter is implemented to discontinue a product. When this method is called, the product status will be altered from active to false, discontinuing the product life. Reactivate inventory method. Reactivate inventory method with products array and scanner as parameters is implemented to reactivate a product. When this method is called, the product status will be altered from discontinued to active.
So, I'm talking about the execute menu choice method. Our execute menu choice method consists of the parameters of integer choice, products array, and scanner, which is implemented to execute the menu choice. Switch case statement is used in this method, and the choice in the switch brackets represents the user's input from the get menu option method. When user input number 1, which is the view inventory, the display inventory method will be called. When the input is 2, the add inventory method will be called. The same goes to the 3, 4, and 5, each with a different call methods. When the input is 0, it will exit the program. So now I will talking about the main method. A scanner is declared to allow user to input the console. The integer variable max size is initialized to call the getNumProducts method. If the input for the number of product to be added is 0, then the system prints out no product required. Thus, no action will be executed. Else, the max size, which is the number of products to be added input by the user, represents the size or length of the product array. After that, add to inventory method is called, then a do-while loop is incorporated with the integer choice that calls for the get menu option method. An execute menu choice method is called after the execution of menu option. While the choice is not equal to 0, then the menu option will be re-promoted to the user until the user input 0 to exit the program.
Next is the program demo. As you run the program, the user is prompted to enter the number of products he or she would like to add in the console. Let's say the user adds 3 products. Then the user will be prompted with a list of product types to add. The first product to add is disposable face mask, so the user inserts number 1. The user is required to key in the details of a product, so let the product name be disposable surgical mask. 50 pieces in a box, blue color. Let's say the manufacture date is 10th of November 2020 and the expiry date is 10th of November 2023, which is a 3 years of shelf life. 100 of quantities, 1 boxes cost 12 ringgit and the product number will be A1. Then, the second product to be added is hand sanitizer. The process of keying in the details will be the same, so let the product name be Dettol hand sanitizer. The manufacture date is 10th of November 2020 and the expiry date is 10th of November 2023, which is a 3 years of shelf life. 200 quantities, each costs 6 ringgit and the product number will be A2. Next, the third product to add is healthcare kit. The product name is healthcare kit. The manufacture date is 10th of November 2020 and the expiry date is 10th of November 2022, which is 2 years of shelf life. 100 quantities and each costs 40 ringgit and the product number will be A3.
So after the products were added into the inventory, the user can view the inventory to check them out. As you can see, all the products and its details were listed in the product list. What if the user wants to add stock to a specific product? The user has to input number 2 to add stock. Then, the user will be prompted with the product number he or she would like to change. Let's say product number 1 and adding another 100 quantities. When the user chooses to view the inventory again, the user will be able to notice the change in the quantity in stock, which initially was 200. After adding another 100, it became 300 now. Then, the user decided to deduct the product stock by inserting number 3 and choose product number 0, the disposable surgical mask. Let's say deduct the product stock by 50 from 100. Then when the user views the inventory, the quantity in stock of the surgical mask becomes 50. Then, if the user decided to discontinue a product line, the user will have to enter number 4 and choose, let's say, product 2. Then, when the user views the inventory, the healthcare kit status is now discontinued. When a product line is discontinued, the user will no longer be able to add or deduct the stock. For example, if the user selects healthcare kit to add stock with a value of 10, the action is not allowed. View the inventory and the user will notice the quantity of healthcare kit remains at 100. The same process goes to the deduction. Let's say deduct with a value of 50 and track the inventory, it still remains at 100. To reactivate it, the user will have to input number 5 and select the discontinued product, which is the healthcare kit. Now, the user can add and deduct stock for the healthcare kit once again. So, the user selects healthcare kit and add 10 stock and view it again. The stock has increased and the product status is back to active. On the other hand, a deduction of value 10 results in the healthcare kit stock back to 100. Finally, the user can exit the program.
Now I will demonstrating how the program handles the errors. At first, we test it with alphabets or character. Let's say we enter A. You can see that an input mismatch exception is occur. If the user input a negative number, the user will be prompted to key in a positive integer only. At this section, it will also encounter a similar situation as we mentioned earlier. If the user input an alphabet, let's say A, input mismatch exception occurs. If a negative number input or number other than the listed numbers, the user will be prompted to key in the number listed on above only. This error handling will also occur in every part of the code whenever the system requests for an integer and double variables of input from the user. We will be continue testing the errors with the sequence of letting an alphabet A and a number with which is negative. For price, if the input is 0, the user will also be prompted to insert value more than 0 because nothing is free in the store. Remember, the quantity of product is 100. If the user tries to deduct more than 100, the user will be prompted to insert a positive integer in the range of available stock. So basically, that's all the program's error handling. This is end of our presentation. Thank you for everyone for listening, and we hope that you enjoy it and also learn something new.